Everyone talks about financial freedom, but almost no one actually runs their own Bitcoin node. Today, I'm going to show you step by step how to set up Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin nodes. No hype, no drama, just the tools you actually need to take back full control of your digital wealth. If you want sovereignty, this is where it all begins. Okay, so this is the Bitcoin Core. So let's start off with this main original Bitcoin node client software. Now, before I actually show you the steps to actually install the client on your laptop, or it could be your PC, I was going to quickly run through just a reminder. What are the attributes on Bitcoin Core? So it says here that Bitcoin Core is programmed to decide which blockchain contains valid transactions. The users of Bitcoin Core only accept transactions for that blockchain, making the Bitcoin blockchain that everyone else wants to use. And it gives you kind of the link to the official website of the Bitcoin Core itself. It's decentralized, so these are the actual node client users that make Bitcoin truly decentralized. They individually run their own Bitcoin Core full nodes, and each of those full nodes separately follows the exact same rules, so the exact same playbook to decide which blockchain is valid. Also, there is no voting. So there's no voting or other corruptible process involved. There's just individual software following identical rules, the math, to evaluate identical blocks and coming to identical conclusions about which blockchain is valid. Now, this is very important, and this is the core fundamental behind the Bitcoin network. And it requires the majority of the Bitcoin node clients out there dispersed in the world to participate, and between them, collectively, they guarantee the true decentralization aspect of the Bitcoin network. And if there's any new code changes or features that ever get propagated in the network, it needs to be consensus reached by the majority of those Bitcoin node clients in the network. So that is the beauty and elegancy and design of the Bitcoin network. It's the only truth decentralized network. So this is what makes it really separate from the rest of the blockchains, which are under the auspices of those blockchain companies run by a CEO. They have their own governance regimes, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just an entirely different approach. And if you want to guarantee true money and wealth, then Bitcoin is the best blockchain network to support that wealth objective. So let's jump into next how we would actually run the client software. So you need to first download the actual client software, which the current release is 28.1, which I have here already. You just double click. It's very straightforward. Keep clicking yes, just accept all the default options. Very quick, it only takes a few seconds. Then you just hit the finish button. It runs the software, and you can see the latest version 28.1. Right, so once you've actually finished the installation of the Bitcoin Core node client software, you'll be faced with this initial screen, this welcome screen, where it says where you would like to store the actual blockchain data. So remember, after you've installed the software, to actually synchronize your own local blockchain copy of the Bitcoin network with the rest of your other Bitcoin node operator blockchains, you need to synchronize their copies with your own, so everyone has a level playing field to work with. So that is the next step that you need to do. And this is the place where you can actually configure where you want to actually set up your default data directory. And also you have the option to limit the actual storage, the megabyte storage of the blockchain data itself on your laptop or PC. In this option. So you just accept on that. And once you've done that, then the actual process to kick off the synchronization will actually happen straight after that automatically. You'll get fronted with a screen next. So this is like the Windows progress pane as to how much of the synchronization is taking place. And you need to be patient because we're talking about several gigas worth of blockchain data that needs to be synchronized with your other peers on the network. So it takes quite a few hours to complete, but this is just a one-off task that you need to do once you've installed your own Bitcoin node client software. So give it some time. Once this is complete, then you can actually embark on the sending and receiving of Bitcoin transactions from your wallet with your other Bitcoin wallet users in the network. So this is actually the screen that you would see on your overview page. Since this is the first time you're using the Node client software, there isn't any wallet that's been set up as a result. So you just need to click on the Create New Wallet button. You'll be faced with a simple pane that requires you to specify the name of the actual wallet. So I'm giving it the name of my channel, my YouTube channel, followed by the word wallet. And you have some other additional advanced options, like if you want to encrypt the wallet, disable the private keys. Well, I'm just going to accept the default, which is just simply to specify the name and just simply hit the create button. So once you've done that, you'll actually see the summary of the available balances that you have in your Bitcoin wallet address. Of course, it's zero because you just set up the wallet for the first time and there aren't any coins available, which you can actually then send and receive accordingly. It's quite intuitive. So I'll show you that next. And it's really very typical features. You can either send, so let's assume that you have some balance, some BTC. Well, you can actually just simply send a transaction, your Bitcoins, to somebody else in the network. Well, you can just simply add the Bitcoin wallet address and then you can give a label and then you can specify the amount of BTC that you would like to send to the other Bitcoin wallet address. And conversely, if you want to receive Bitcoins from somebody else, it's the opposite, but the same philosophy remains. So very, very simple. And since I've just recently installed my Bitcoin Node client, you can see there aren't any transactions because I'm actually in the process of synchronizing my blockchain in the network with the rest of the public ledgers in the other Bitcoin nodes out there. What are the actual configurations, options that are available in Bitcoin Core? You can see there's limited few setups. These are just simple general technical options that are available, like the database caching, how much of a multi-threads you can have. You can actually look that up, but that's what's covered under the main pane of the options screen of Bitcoin Core. If you go into the wallet options, you can actually make some specifications, narrow down the needs of your own Bitcoin Core client. You've got similarly other options for network, other options for Windows, which is the look and feel and the user experience of this Bitcoin client software. So you can see there isn't that much of an options available under the original Bitcoin Core client software. So that is Bitcoin Core. That's how you would set up. And I've shown you very quickly what are the configuration options that are available. Very few in numbers. And then you need to, as I said, you need to kick off the synchronization tasks. Once you've installed the client, just kick that off and let it complete itself. So that is Bitcoin Core. I'm going to show you how you would set up the more popular option, which is Bitcoin Knots client software. So this is the Bitcoin Knots. It's actually called bitcoinknots.org. And within that, you can just simply click the download and then it will save the executable file. In the same way that I have to go through in the Bitcoin Core setup, it will store the latest version of Bitcoin Knots executable on your desktop, which is version 29.1. So I already have that prepared. If I just simply double click on it, say yes, if you're running under Windows 11, which is what I'm using, as with the Bitcoin Core option, just accept all the default options. As with Core, it takes only a few seconds to install. Click. You can see the 29.1 release version shown there. So you can see it's very similar. You remember that Bitcoin Knots is the origin of that is Bitcoin Core. You can see the look and feel is identical. So what sets it apart from Bitcoin Core are its options. Now you can see just by its appearance, you have quite a few additional options, predominantly around mempool, spam filtering and mining. So I would touch on each of these three areas in a separate video, but I just wanted to show you just at a glance. You can see there is more configurational options available. As I said in the previous episode on the difference between Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Knots, you have full sovereign control by way of fine-tuning your own policies through these configuration options in the mempool, the spam filtering. So whenever new transactions are added to your own mempool in your blockchain, in your laptop, you have full configurability and control as to which transactions get slotted in your own mempool. And you have these spam filtering options readily available to be selective on that. And this is the unique aspect of Bitcoin Knots, which is very different from Bitcoin Core, which you don't have any filtering capability options available. That is the actual difference that I want to share with you. And then you have a third one, which is interesting, around mining. So that's all I'd like to touch on in this episode, this short episode. I covered the very basic steps to download and set up each of these Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Knots node client softwares in your laptop. I've shown you very quickly the appearances of the configuration options that are available. Bitcoin Core has very few in number, whereas Bitcoin Knots provides more configurability options to the Bitcoin node operators running under Knots, and why these options give you that full sovereign control on your own Bitcoin node client. So I'll stop here. If you look into the QR code at the end of this video, you will have the links to the rest of my podcast series, and also I'll share the links in the description and the pinned comments where you can jump straight into review those. So incidentally, if you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget the like button, to share the video to colleagues, friends and family, and if you haven't done so already, to please subscribe to my channel, as I regularly publish some instant videos such as these, anything to do with Bitcoin, blockchain technology and the future of finance. So until next time.